Do you ever feel like no matter how hard you try, it's never enough? Or that no matter what you do, even if you do manage to succeed, you're gonna fail anyway because the true failure in you is always gonna come out? Well, you're not alone, and there's a lot of people who feel the same way. Now with social media bombarding us every single day, you have people who are younger than you, richer than you, smarter than you, just filling up your feed, showing you that you're just not good enough and you need to do so much more than anyone's ever done before just to be happy. I think it's really easy to forget that social media is just a show reel. It's a highlight of all the best things that people have done, all compressed into a single timeline, and you think that's their entire life and you're a failure because you're nothing close to that, and you should just quit now because you'll never catch up to these guys. And then of course, the people who are born with a silver spoon, who only have a small loan of $1 million, who have the car, they have the house, they have the business, they don't know what a hard life is because they never had it tough. Or when you finally do hit a goal, you don't celebrate, you then move the goalposts, and you never feel like you're actually achieving anything. None of this stuff negates what you've been through, but I think it's really easy to forget that success is just the tip of the iceberg. All the struggles, the failures, and sacrifices are all hidden beneath the surface. One of the first things I want to talk to you about that have helped me feel better about my life and can help you to feel better about yours is defining how you see success. It's really easy to sabotage yourself by setting the goals so high you'll never actually achieve them, and that's the easiest way to feel like a failure. See, expectation causes stress, so if you're able to set realistic goals or goals that are achievable for yourself, then you're no longer going to feel that overwhelming stress and anxiety because you know that the goal is within reach, and if you follow the steps that you've set for yourself, you're gonna get there in the end. This is what I didn't do when I was running my agency. When I got my first client, I was so stoked and I was so happy because I felt like I was finally achieving something. I was gonna start making 10K a month and everything was gonna change. I managed to get my second client. I was still just as excited, seeing that the future was bright. And when I got to my third client, I was no longer happy. I needed 10 clients and then I could celebrate. I started to resent myself because I wasn't achieving the goal soon enough. Mind you, agencies are actually tough. They're not exactly a lifestyle business, but that's something you learn once you're in the industry. So the most important part here is to celebrate the small stuff, celebrate the small wins that you have, and recognize the progress that you've made. If you keep changing the goal, success is always going to feel like it's out of reach. The next thing is the mindset you have and your self-perception. See, once you start to get into this business space and you see how much motivation and mindset stuff there is, it's easy to start forgetting about that and just going straight to the technical stuff. And that's definitely where I found myself after the first couple of years. And then my business started to go south. I started having bad thoughts. I started to see myself more and more as a failure, and I started to see that come to reality. And what's worse is if you expect 100% success, then you're going to feel like a failure even with 99% success. And that's why every business book has a dedicated chapter to mindset. You're not a failure, you just need to adjust your expectations to something more realistic and achievable for you. When you look at these guys on social media, the ones who are young, who have heaps of money, who've done it in like a month or 6 months, it's really easy to see that and be blown away, but then also start to judge yourself and see them as a god, see them as something beyond human that's achieved something that only immortals can do. But like before, you really got to remember that success is just the tip of the iceberg. You have no idea what that person's been through, the suffering that they've been through, or the pain they've been through. They might have been doing this for years and years, or had a lot of support and coaching to help them progress as quickly as they did, or they just got really lucky and happened to be in the right place at the right time. Regardless of what happens, it's not going to make any difference for you, because the most important thing that you can do here is just to focus on the long term and remember that success is built on the lessons of failure. It's the lessons that you learn and apply that give you the true path to success. Another thing I've experienced for myself, and I see it in my friends, is this pressure to be constantly happy. When you look at those social media posts, I mean, the people look pretty happy. There's this unrealistic expectation that success equals happiness. But that's not how life works. Here's a really good image about what people think success looks like versus what success actually looks like. And in a similar way, happiness comes and goes. You go through seasons in life, and that's totally normal and okay. If anything, it's better to be able to accept the highs and the lows for what they are, because there's beauty in all seasons, and each season can teach you something new. The next thing that is plaguing our society and the youth is this fear of failure. I've seen it everywhere, from friends to colleagues to family members. Fear of failure prevents you from trying anything, and if you can't try anything, well then how do you ever succeed in anything? You know when they get you to do icebreakers and then someone has to put up their hand to be the first one to try an activity? Look at how few people put their hands up, and that's just an activity that no one can actually fail. I went to this business seminar one time and the speaker offered $20 in cash for anyone who would come up and collect it, and it took a good 10 seconds before anyone even tried to leave their seat. You can bet that I also wasn't the first one to jump up, but that's exactly my point. There's so few people willing to do anything these days that your competition to success just gets lower and lower because no one's willing to take a risk. It's really important to remember that every time you fail, you learn something. Every setback that you experience can teach you the way forward. So now I want to bring it back to you to take control of your life. It's time to stop comparing and recognize that everybody's path is different. Failure is okay. Feeling bad is okay. It's okay to fall down, scratch yourself up, and then get back up again. Success is personal, and especially success is subjective. There are people in this world struggling just to breathe. There are people in this world happy to just have food on the table or have a roof over their heads. Your success is defined by you, and your journey is valid no matter where you end up or what you do. So to recap, we have the importance of mindset, acknowledge your achievements while still making small steps towards your goals without moving the goalpost, being okay with the ups and downs in life, and overcoming your fear of failure. Now when it comes to business, check out my other videos to learn how to make money. I'll see you next week. Cheers.